What is up, my nerds? Yeah, this is different because we're actually doing an in-person podcast. If you see here, Jason's over there in the same room, and I'm right here, both using portable microphones, have cameras set up. So, long story short, my internet, if you all have heard before, is shit right now. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why there's an issue, but essentially I called tech support and they're fixing it. So I decided that I wanted to record in person because everything that we did last time was junk. Like Jason's was fine, but mine was grainy.
See, the problem is that he has Verizon, whereas I have Verizon. And he lives like way the frick out, like 2 minutes away from me. So yeah, it's just... Yeah, there's no reason why his should be any worse. We have the exact same plan. We have the exact same speed and everything. I don't know.
Yeah, so
it's confusing.
I decided that I've had these microphones for a while. I've had the two cameras for a while. I decided that screw this internet bullshit. We're going to do this live and in person. Now, eventually, I told you before that you wouldn't see my fancy setups with the, glowy lights and everything, but so we're going to do an impromptu session. I appreciate Jason for allowing me to be in his house and recording the episode pretty much over again, but in person.
Yep.
So, Jason, when we were talking online, we were essentially talking about MW3, right? It's gotten mixed reviews. People love it. People hate it. I ended up buying it because I haven't played my Call of Duty probably in a couple years. So I had Modern Warfare 1, the upgraded Modern Warfare that came out, played it, loved it. And then when Modern Warfare 2 came out, I didn't really didn't think about playing it because I was kind of like playing some other games that came out. And I know when Modern Warfare 3 came out, I was like, you know what? I want to buy it. I was like, I want to try it because they came out with like the new zombies and like all those things. And you were struggling with thinking about buying it, and I hounded you and hounded you and hounded you to buy it. And you were like, I'm going to wait for Black Friday.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it was like when you were really hounding me was like 2 or 3 days before Black Friday. So I was like, all right, well, I just have to wait a couple of days. It'll probably be like $10 off or something. It's not going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And then my other lifelong friend, shout out Tim, he was trying to get me to buy it. And he's a man of disposable income. So, he's like, oh, just buy it. And I'm like, dude, I don't have the money for that. And he's like, how about the friends and family sale? The I want to play with Jason sale. And he just Venmo'd me for half of it. And I was like, all right. I'll take it. $35 for this. I was like, cool.
Right.
And the greatest part about that is that Tim was the friend that I always played Call of Duty with growing up. We played Modern Warfare 2, all of the zombies that ever came out, really, we got super into. So for him to be like, yeah, we got to play this again. And we played the new remastered Modern Warfare 2 together, which, was it was a good time. I liked that game. Like you said, you didn't really play that one.
Right.
It was good. I liked it. The best part about it was DMZ for me.
Right.
When they came out with that, which for people who don't know, it was like Warzone everybody knows about, but you're in squads and you're not all fighting just to be the last man standing. You're in the city. You get to find stuff. There's lootable houses you get keys for and stuff. And you want to get stuff and get out because you get to save your guns and things.
Right.
And so to kind of bring it into the Modern Warfare 3, that's what they did to zombies. They mashed up DMZ and their normal zombies. So it's the giant open map of DMZ. You get to go in, get stuff, find stuff, fight zombies, and then exfil and keep your stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you don't have to worry about the other people playing trying to murder you as you're flying away in a helicopter.
Yeah.
As you're exfilling and then someone snipes you from a high rise and you just die before you can exfil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I was wondering, did they have zombies on Modern Warfare 2?
That's a good question. I feel like there was
'Cause
some kind of infected
last night
mode.
Tyler was saying something. Didn't you hear him mention something about zombies last game or something like that? Maybe he was confused. I didn't know if they had it in Modern Warfare 2 or if that was like Black Ops 2 he was talking about.
You know what? I hardly ever played zombie, like, so I feel I've told you about this too, is probably within the last year or so I really got into zombies again.
Yeah.
And I realized because Steam, when you're playing on computer, there's a lot more modding in the community.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge modding community for Black Ops 2 for zombies.
Right.
So people just have like mods, but they also have custom maps. And so I was just playing tons of custom maps. So honestly, at the time I would have been playing that, I was playing that for zombies. I think there was some kind of infected, like zombies.
I remember
mode.
Infected. It was a game mode.
Right, not the multiplayer game mode, but I want to say there was some kind of weird zombies mode.
Okay.
It's hard for me to remember it now, but I feel like there was. Maybe it was from just the regular Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Was there? I don't know, but it wasn't good if they had it. That's all I'll say, because this is leagues ahead in my opinion.
So I know when Tim said he was gonna split it with you, and I was actually pretty excited. I was like, wow, OG, like great friend to do that. How do you feel how do you feel this game, like, of all the hype of people hating it and people liking it, what camp do you feel like you're in?
So I will say, to give some preface to it, because I don't really like to go off of what people are saying, like people don't like this game, people like this game.
Yeah.
There are some where like there's a lot of hype for it for years, and then people right out the gate are like, what's going on? Like Cyberpunk 2077, like people were having so many issues, the graphics, everything was crazy. Yeah. And like that was one game where so overwhelmingly negative off the bat that I was like, I'm not buying this right off the bat.
Right.
The Call of Duty games, I feel like I don't really pay attention to the reviews as much either, because they're all over the place.
Okay.
But when like Vanguard and some of the newer ones came out, people were like, it's horrible. I think I bought Vanguard after people were saying it was horrible, and it kind of was horrible to me.
Yeah.
That I'm like, when people were saying that about this one, I was like, I'm not going to buy this one. I'm just going to wait. If there's a really good sale or something, maybe I'll buy it just to play it if my friends do.
Yeah.
And then you were hyping it up so much.
Yeah.
I definitely have to say, I don't hate it. It's not the best Call of Duty of all time, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good game. And I love zombies, so it is great for me right now.
Yeah, and like when I was hyping up, I wasn't saying it was like the greatest game ever. I was just saying, like, for what Call of Duty is, it's definitely better than what I was what I stopped playing Call of Duty for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I think Infinite Warfare?
Yeah.
That came out, Advanced and everything came out, and like jetpacks and like the mech, all the other extra shit that happened. I was just getting, not that I was like not good, it was too much. Like I was overstimulated by all the extra stuff that I was just like, I want a game that I can just run, gun, do what I was old school used to doing. And again, this might be just showing my age and I'm just not advancing with the times, maybe. I don't know.
I will say when those came out, like, at least from my recollection, I was playing it a lot in college with my roommate. And like, it was weird because like it wasn't the normal Call of Duty I was used to. I was open to it because like it was on his Xbox, we were splitting it and everything. I was like, it's fun. It's weird that you can run on walls and stuff because that's never been a thing. But honestly, I do have to say I kind of agree that like when those games were being pushed more heavily and they just like changed things drastically. Some guns were like shooting lasers and things. It was like, you know, I grew up playing Halo all the time, so I love Halo, and they come out with new guns and different things. And obviously there's going to be lasers and things, but I'm like, this is not Halo. This is Call of Duty.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like it was too much to me. Yeah. It was overbearing.
Yeah.
So when this game came out, I was like, okay, now we're getting back to like the nitty. Yeah, you had the slide canceled and you had all this other stuff. That's fine. Yeah. Like I can handle that. I can get good using that.
Yeah.
But what I was really excited for, because I haven't played zombies in such a long time. Like I think the last time I played zombies was Black Ops 1. was kind of like the last time I ever played zombies. And I was really excited for this type of zombie. I was like, oh, we're going to get modern guns. It's like, I thought it was going to just be like old school zombies, essentially like, you know, being in a certain area and you got to like still do what you were originally doing, right? Like boarding up windows. But then going to find out you're in an open map.
Yeah.
And you get to drive cars.
Yeah.
You get to like hang out with your buddies. Like a bunch of people get to join in and just kill zombies. I would say by far, I love multiplayer. I'm decent at multiplayer, but zombies is my favorite game mode right now.
And just to piggyback off of that, just your slight gloss over multiplayer. It's multiplayer. You know, the movement speed in this one seems to be a little bit faster, which people were thrown off by. That was a big thing I heard people complaining about. But multiplayer, for people who were into Modern Warfare 2, they did bring back a lot of the maps from Modern Warfare 2. Like they've had Rust throughout a bunch of things, like Shoot House, Shipment, like certain maps have been so popular that they've kind of like kept them through different games, regardless of if they're the same, you know, company making, you know, the game or not. But the Modern Warfare 2 maps like Afghan and Karachi and things like that, they brought back. So like on top of having like Rust as an option, which is a big option people are playing now, like Rust 24/7 is one of the things.
Yeah, I saw that.
They also have these other maps that like I'm very familiar with from my time back in the day. There's going to be slight changes. Certain doors are now like actual rooms that might not have been or whatnot, but like it's the same map. And like I haven't played it for so long, but I know this map.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's you know, I used to, you know, say like, you know, I'd just run and jump into this trench and then shoot at the guy in that house, and like it's still there. People are still using that as a vantage point. So like you can play it the exact same way. So like multiplayer is not like revolutionary in any way, but there are things that I enjoy about that as well.
Yeah, and you're right, and that's what I think what got me really into playing it again too is because I was like, "Ooh, Terminal's back!" That was one of my favorite maps.
I don't know how I didn't mention
like
that.
Terminal's back. It, like I love Terminal. It was one of my favorite maps on Modern Warfare 2, the OG Modern Warfare 2. For all you kids out there, and like a lot of maps, so like it wasn't too much of a learning curve.
No,
you know, there's a lot of maps that, you know, especially in hardcore. I play hardcore a lot. They kind of cycle through a lot of the older maps, not really newer ones. So yeah, it can kind of get a little stale, but not a learning curve there. So I kind of like that as well. You know, hide in the same spots that I used to hide in. And so disadvantage, all the OG people know those spots. So, but it's still fun. It's all good fun. But like I was saying, like this new Zombies is awesome to me. Like you were saying, it's like DMZ, to where, you know, it's open world. So like I don't feel as pressured or stressed out when we're like in zone 1 or something like that, or even zone 2, I would say. Yeah. Like I don't get myself backed into a corner. As long as I keep moving around, kind of like keep my head on a swivel, looking around. Yeah. I don't feel as stressed out then, rather like OG Zombies where you're like, okay, we can only open these select doors, guys.
Right.
Like,
And that's because that was a big thing, because in the OG Zombies, and I say OG, but it's all the way up to like the most recent Zombies before this. It's always traditionally been like, we want to take the zombies and we want to kind of make them go in a loop of some kind. Yep. So that way I don't get backed into a corner. I'm just going to run up these stairs, go down that hallway, down these stairs, go around through this room. And like you said, don't open other doors, because otherwise zombies will be coming from your sides. From those sides, yeah. Right. This one, and like you were saying, the zones, for people unfamiliar with it, the zones in this one, it's like, it's a big city. If you've played DMZ before, I'm pretty sure might not be the exact same city, but it's a very similar kind of one. The middle of the city is where like zone 3 kind of is, like the the strongest zombies. You need to pack a punch multiple times before you get to there, and all that. Zone 2 is a ring outside of that, and zone 1 is the whole like outskirts of the map. Right. In the grand scheme of things, we haven't been playing it that much. I haven't played it that much. I've probably played like 5 maybe rounds of zombies. Yeah, I've probably a handful of times I played. Like played 2 times with my cousin, played twice with you, your buddy, and one with my cousin, and then I played once today. So I've been to zone 3 like once or twice. Zone 2 maybe 3 times. A lot of the time I've been in Zone 1. I'm a weenie, it's okay.
Dude, Zone 3 gets intense.
Yeah,
it gets 100%, very intense.
100%. And like I was saying too, with the Pack-a-Punch, everybody who's played zombies before will know what the Pack-a-Punch is. In Zone 1, you can Pack-a-Punch for 5,000, which is the usual zombies kind of thing. You go into Zone 2, you can re-Pack-a-Punch your gun again, which has been kind of a thing in the past, but it usually just applies like a status effect.
Mm-hmm.
Those you can kind of pick up while playing the game. In
Right.
Zone 2, though, you pay 10,000 points to Pack-a-Punch your gun to level 2. And then I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure there's a Pack-a-Punch in Zone 3, I'd imagine.
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're using a Pack-a-Punch gun in Zone 2, it works relatively well.
Yeah.
But if you can Pack-a-Punch again in Zone 2,
right.
you're fine. Then you get to Zone 3, and it's the same kind of thing where like your second Pack-a-Punched gun is okay. It can kind of kill things, but you're going to be like struggling when a group comes at you.
Because in Zone 3, they're more armored.
Yeah.
Armored zombies. So like even I know when we were playing with your buddy Tim.
Yeah.
I had Pack-a-Punch to level 2.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult to kill zombies.
Yeah.
So like
because for reference, just like broad reference, I had an LMG with like 100 rounds in it, I guess. And before I Pack-a-Punched it, killing zombies, 2 shots or so per zombie, if you're trying to go for headshots, kind of was fine. Got into Zone 2, and I had to unload like 50 rounds to kill some of the zombies with armor.
Mm-hmm.
Pack-a-Punch it. 2, I'm still like maybe 15 rounds to kill one zombie.
Yeah.
Which you would imagine in like Zone 1, it's only taking 2 or 3. A Pack-a-Punched weapon in Zone 2 being like 15 rounds is still a lot for an LMG.
Yeah.
So like it definitely gets more difficult as you go inward, and not to mention there's like special zombies, like like
the mimics, the disciples.
There's like
I don't even know what the big one is called. Like there's like a giant one.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, dude,
we'll probably see it later.
when you're done telling your story, I'll tell you what I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, and like, is it the disciple or something else? One of the ones that like flies around.
That's the disciple that flies around and like, corrupts like it will try to suck your life force, but then it also corrupts like all the other zombies essentially.
Right. So like there are different things, and like we said, the mimic. If anyone's familiar with like D&D, or just kind of pop culture around a mimic, it's essentially an item that's actually a monster, and more traditionally seen as like a chest that turns into a monster. And in this game, it's literally that. There's like a loot crate that like if you're going into like a stronghold of sorts, you try to open a loot crate, it'll just pop up into this giant mimic monster and chase you.
See, I've never even seen it. I've always seen it chasing someone, but I've never seen it pop out.
Oh yeah, if you ever want, just follow me into any building because it always happens to me.
Yeah.
And they just turn into this big thing with like tentacles and stuff, and it tries to grab you. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But I am interested to hear about this big zombie.
So,
I've heard a lot.
But the funny thing about the mimic, I know when you and I were playing together with your buddy, and you guys were running. I didn't have a gas mask, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have a gas mask, and I was like, "Hey guys, I need a gas mask whenever you find one." But you're like, you guys were trying to clear out these buildings because like there's buildings that are like gas with like a bunch of creatures that like
there's, as gross as it sounds, there's cysts
like
on the wall. They're like
things.
glowing bubbles, and you pop them.
Yeah.
And once you've popped all of them, the gas dissipates. But these are also buildings where like there's at least one mimic in every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular one, instead of like a 2-story, house or whatever, it was like kind of like a high-rise, like apartment building or whatever.
It was like a 4-story building.
But it was like one that had 4 stories of stairs that would normally have doors into like different apartments, but they're all blocked off because it's a stronghold. So I run in, start popping the sys. I'm like, I'll just do that and I'll get through so that way it'll clear out and you can help us loot stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
And he's outside shooting the zombies from the outside, things that are trying to go in to kill
anything
us.
That's falling in, out. I'm trying to kill him. Yeah.
Makes sense. I get about halfway up the stairs and a mimic pops out, starts chasing me up the stairs. So I'm like, okay, it's not my first time playing DMZ. I know you run up these stairs, there's going to be a door up the top, get me on the roof. Well, because it's a stronghold,
Mm-hmm.
that door is just blocked off. So I
Yeah.
run all the way upstairs, and the mimic corners me, and another zombie shows up and just pushes me into a corner. I'm trying to kill the zombie. The mimic's smacking me. I get knocked down.
Yeah.
Everybody's outside.
Yeah.
So I'm crawling, and I'm like, I don't think I can make it all the way down these stairs, guys. I'm going down this way, then over, then down this way. And I'm like, I'll probably get to the second floor by the time I'm almost dead. My buddy Tim runs in, turns around and runs out. The mimic's chasing him out the door.
You're underselling it because you're like, because on my point of view, I'm just like mowing down some zombies that are going in. All of a sudden I hear, there's a mimic. Oh no. And I'm like, you all right? You're like, no, I'm trapped. And then all of a sudden I see you drop and I'm like, make it down the stair. Or actually your buddy Tim runs out. He's like, oh God. And then he like runs out. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
I started like blasting it and like killing it. He's like, oh, thanks, man. And I'm like, Jason, try to make it downstairs. You're like, I don't know if I can make it. Because you're on like the fourth story.
Just the great escape. Just trying to get out of this house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was wild. But like, that's just a regular occurrence. But again, this being a giant open map, you don't have to put yourself in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
If you're into the OG kind of zombie stuff, you can just kind of run around in the outskirts, shoot zombies that are popping up out of the ground, killing them, just loot a little bit. And like I said, for people unaware of DMZ and everything, there's exfil points where there's helicopters, there's smoke. You run up, you pop a smoke. A helicopter will take about like a minute or two, whatever, and then it'll fly in and land. You hop in the helicopter, it exfils you out. Everything you have on you pretty much goes with you. Mm-hmm. So that way, next time you play, maybe you just want to play one round a day. Maybe you just like weren't feeling the map, whatever. You exfil with your stuff, and you get to keep those guns, and you can pick from your stash of guns to go back in. So it's a nice system, and I can't explain to you enough that when I was playing this with my buddy, it was like every day we'd be playing just tons of DMZ. We'd be doing like 3 or 4 matches a day, and it was just like, oh well. Now we've got a system where, you can bring in your insured guns where you can make your own custom guns.
Yeah.
But there's a cooldown. So like we would bring in our own custom guns, drop them to each other, because if you just keep your custom gun at the end, you just have it to like reuse again. But if we drop them to each other, then like when he exfils, he's just got this really nice gun in his stash and he can make another insured weapon.
Oh.
So we'd start doing that. And like by the end of the time we were playing DMZ, we'd have like, each of us have like 5 or 10 of these like super great sniper rifles in our stash.
Does this zombie have a cooldown mode?
I think so.
Does it?
Yeah. So like if you bring an insured weapon, and then you get killed.
Okay. Oh.
Then you come back. It'll be like.
So it only works if you. So that only happens if you get killed.
If you get killed, or if you leave your gun behind.
Gotcha.
Because then it's like you lost your gun, and then you got to wait 10 minutes or whatever. But there's 3 slots for insured stuff, and I don't know if you saw. There's like challenges and things. Yeah. As you progress through the challenges, once you get through a certain tier of them, you'll probably unlock the second slot and then the third slot.
Gotcha.
So then you've got options or whatever. But we did stuff like that all the time. So like to think like one of my favorite game modes of all time got mashed up with my favorite game mode of all time. Like putting those two together, like I don't know how I never thought about that. It's great. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's honestly with this MW3, it's like I said, multiplayer is great, but this new zombies mode it's just overall fun. Like it's just bringing like the old fun thing back.
Yeah.
Other than when your internet's not working, but
yeah. Also for reference, how we were talking about how his internet was just not working when we were playing zombies. Me, him, and his cousin. It was just like it'd be like, where I'm in mid behind. Over, and I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I was like, what are you saying? And then you're like, is this better? I'm like, yeah. And then you're like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, like it was better for 2 seconds.
You're like, I was like, comms are gone.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. And he was just saying like, yeah, I got this new headset. It's gonna be, and I just couldn't hear anything he was saying. I'm like, I don't want to tell him like that new headset is garbage. But you're like, I swapped headsets. Is it better? I'm like, I can't hear what you're saying. And you're like, oh, damn. I was like, it's got to be your internet.
Yeah.
It can't be.
I was getting
your
heated
headset.
too, because like I was getting heated last night. I was
Yeah.
trying not to.
We were just trying to, like, you know, we're in the middle of a game, and you know, me and your cousin are like, yeah, we'll just keep going. It's fine. Like, we can understand you well enough. And you're like, no, I've had enough of this. Like, you can't understand me, and I'm just trying to. I'm like, it's okay, buddy. And you're like, no. Like, let's just call it. I'm like, okay, we can call it.
Yeah.
And then your cousin was like, I'll stay behind. I was like, it's a minute before the gas starts closing, and he's like, I'm good. I'm like, all right. I'm leaving.
You and I exfil together. He's left in the city by himself.
I might play another zombies, but I'm not staying in here after the game's like pretty much over.
Yeah.
Like, all right, goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely getting frustrated. And my cousin, being who he is, like, Tyler's more like my brother than anything, like my young brother.
Yeah.
And like he knows what pushes my buttons.
Yeah.
So he was definitely razzing me up a little bit last night.
Oh, he was. 100%.
Where he was like, he's like, yeah, your mic sucks. I was like, dude, it's an expensive mic. He's like, yeah, how much? I was like, honestly, it's like $100 microphone. And he's like, yeah, well, you need to buy the $200 one. Yeah. I was like, how much money do I need to spend here?
Yeah, no, I was definitely adding in, because he was like, you're like, well, obviously you need a $200 one. You're like, yeah, but you don't have a $200 mic. And I was like, yeah, because we don't need a $200 mic.
Yeah.
Clearly you do. It's just like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning of this podcast, like, it's a joke, but also not. We both have gigabit from Verizon.
Yeah.
And we literally live, like, he lives the next street over. Like, we are not far apart. Get the same service, the same plan. You would imagine we both have good service. And I think, like you said, it's probably something on their end. They reset it or whatever. Yeah. So we'll see.
We're going to try it out tonight.
And we both have wired connection too.
I know. Like, and that's what my cousin was like. He's like, are you wired in? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm not even over Wi-Fi. I understand, like, Wi-Fi signals don't really go through the basement, but like, I was like, I'm directly you helped me run wire.
We ran the Ethernet. Yeah.
So we ran wire, and like, so whatever, we'll see if it fixes tonight. But so you said that you haven't played much in Zone 3.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my cousin, when my internet was actually working a decent amount, we went into Zone 3. Like, you were like trying to, you were doing some stuff. You couldn't really hop in at the moment. So me and him hopped in together with some other random guy came with us.
Yeah.
And he seemed like he played the game a lot because he just knew a lot about it.
Okay.
It's possibly because, like, maybe with him playing DMZ a lot, or
not to cut you off, but he was trying to explain this to me while his audio didn't work, and I was like, I don't know what you're saying, right? You're like, this guy, and then he wasn't, but he was, and then he stopped, and I was like, what? Like, what are you saying? And you're like, it's fine, whatever. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was pissed.
So this will be the first time I actually know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's why I was actually going to tell you this story, because I was pissed yesterday when I was I honestly was over it. You're like, yeah, dude, I got none of that. I was like, I literally wasted my breath trying to talk to you. I wasn't getting mad at you.
Do me a favor, Shane. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't hear anything you're saying.
That's exactly how I was feeling last night. That's why I was like, kind of giving myself a pity party last night. I was like, I don't want to play no more. So this guy, he pretty much took the lead on what we were gonna do, and that's fine. Like, I haven't played the game much. It seemed like he was very knowledgeable what to do, where to find some things, what needed, and he was doing a lot of challenges. So we were running through stuff pretty quickly, and then we were like pack a punch of things, and like I was still kind of looking around because I needed a gas mask, and like I've never left with a gas mask, so I really wanted one.
Yeah.
So my cousin and him were kind of like running around doing that. They've played a lot more than me. So they were kind of running around just like doing objectives while I was like collecting items.
Right. Yeah.
So then like we get to like, we pack punch at least twice, go to Zone 2, still doing objectives and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden he's like, all right, come on, we're going to go to this zone. And I'm like on the other side of the map because I'm still like collecting stuff.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I noticed they're in the red zone. I'm like, are we going to Zone 3? I was like, I have no money to pack a punch to level 3 yet.
That's true. You want to save up before you go there so you can pack a punch.
They're in the middle of like a firefight. They're like, he kept calling me Blue because my icon was blue.
Yeah.
And my cousin's was yellow. He's like, Blue, you got to get over here. We need you. And I was like, you guys are far as shit. I was
Yeah.
like, how the hell am I gonna make it over there in time? He's like, grab a car, or you could hit that riff.
Yeah.
And like the riff is pretty cool. I don't know if you ever hit the riff before.
Because there's two different things that kind of do the same thing. There's these drones around the map
The
that
zip
have like a
line
zip
things.
line up, so you
Yeah.
can zip line up and then launch. The Rift, I think, launches you way further up in the air, but like it's a random spots around the map. There's like a purple glowing thing,
Mhm.
and I think on the map there might be like an up arrow in the middle of it, but you walk into it and then it teleports you up in the air really high. I don't think it's right above where that spot is. I think it's a little bit over in some direction.
Yeah, I'm not for sure.
But and then you can like parachute down. So so you're saying like hit the rift so you can get there quicker.
Yeah, because the rift launches you a little taller in the air. It's almost like you jumping out of the plane.
Yeah.
So I used the rift. I parachuted, and I pretty much got nearly almost across the map to them. So by the time I landed, it says like you're in zone 3, and it's like red and shit. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
So as soon as I land, I start running through some alleys, and I hear like zombies chase me. I'm like, god dang! I was like, I just landed
at that point too, and like you don't have like a level 3 pack bunch. You're like, I'm just running. I'm not trying to shoot these things because like it's gonna take me forever to kill stuff. So you're like, let me get to them and help, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I get to zone 3, running through some alleys, kind of mowing down a little bit of zombies as I can as I'm going. All of a sudden, like they're in this giant like courtyard, and like there's like 2 mimics. There's like 2 disciples. Like,
yeah, oh my god.
I'm like, and they're like running around like little rats. I was like, I almost wanted to like back out, like just like slowly like
good. Hey guys, I ran into a problem. I'll meet back up with you.
And like, Blue, I see you over there. Nope, not me. That's not me. It's a different guy. So I just started jumping in, started like doing what I can. I had like a pack a punch like SMG. So I helped a lot. The rate of fire was definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Then my cousin starts throwing monkeys.
Yeah.
And like I had 2 Molotovs, so it cleared him out a little bit. So he's like, oh man, that was a little stressful. And then he's like, okay, so we're gonna go do this contract. And I'm like, okay. So we start running to the contract, and we do that contract, and it starts getting a little hectic. And then he's like, oh, we need to run to this pack-a-punch. He's like, let's run to the pack-a-punch, and then we'll stay here. So we're running to the pack-a-punch. All of a sudden, I get dropped. And then my cousin's like, shit. So he like runs around. He's running around with 2 katanas, like slicing through people. And then he grabs me, and then the guy was like, here's a self-revive. He's like, and then I found an extra one. So as we're running along, he totally forgets what we were doing. And all of a sudden, we're just standing in one zone. Like, we're just standing around in this area, just killing zombies. And me and my cousin were like, all right, we're running out of ammo here. What are we doing? And then he just, like, stops talking. And we're like, what are we doing? Like, are we leaving? Are we exfilling? Or are we, like, staying? And then I was like, fuck, I'm about to run out of ammo. So there was, like, an ammo crate, like, maybe down the stairs and, like, to the left. So, like, I was like, Tyler, I'm gonna run and get some ammo real quick. And I think we should leave. I was like, I think we need to get the hell out of here. He's like, yeah, it's a good idea. So I run to get ammo. All of a sudden I get jumped by 2 zombies. I get dropped. He's like right above me. I see him like right above me shooting. I was like, Tyler, I need you to come down here and get me. So he gets me. He heals me. And all of a sudden, like there's a door behind me. He's like, run. And so we start dipping. Like we just start running. And all of a sudden then the guy, he shows up. He's like, yeah. He's like, we need to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I think we just need to leave. All of a sudden, this giant creature starts stomping around. Like I didn't know what the noise was.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to see the name of it.
So this is where, because like I haven't seen it at all. This is where I gotta like, the mimic is pretty tall.
Yeah.
Compared to you, how big is this thing?
It's probably like 12 foot.
Okay.
Maybe even more than that. Maybe I would say even like 20 feet tall. Like it's huge.
So like twice the height of a mimic, or like
yeah, like even taller than that. And it's like wide.
Yeah.
It's like super fat.
Yeah.
And like it's probably like the boss of the game. But but like if you kill that, then like the more will probably show up as you keep going along. And so I get dropped again, but I had a self revive. But then all of a sudden he slides over and he starts healing me, and I was like, dude. I was like, don't even worry about it. I was like, there's things behind you.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I got you. He's like, I got armor on. I was like, okay. So he heals me. I get up. I throw a monkey. And then they kind of go away, and then he drops. So I started healing him. And he's like, all right. I was like, dude, what are we doing? I was like, are we leaving? Are we staying? What are we doing? I was like, we need a plan because we're just in this zone.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that's when that giant thing shows up with the hordes of zombies around it. And like, he gets swarmed. I get dropped, but I self-revive. And then I just book it over to my cousin, who's like literally on this bridge where there's like water on each body, like each side. So you like literally just go from this side to the other side. And I see him over there just cutting zombies up, just waiting too.
Yeah.
And then I get dropped again. He picks me up. He's like, dude, we're gone. He's like, we're just leaving. Yeah. So him and I, all of a sudden I noticed that the other guy, he's dead. Like he lost completely because I couldn't revive him. Like he was getting swarmed by zombies. So I couldn't get to him. So for the last 10 minutes of the game, we literally were hoofing it on foot through zone 3 to exfil. Yeah. Because there was no cars, no nothing. Yeah. And I did the whole trick that your buddy Tim showed me, because like we were running, but Tyler has katana, so he's running faster than me. Oh yeah. So I was like, bitch, slow down. I was like, you're gonna get me killed. He's like, oh no, man. He's like, I'm out of here. Yeah. He's like, I'm gone. I was like, this is bullshit. I'm running slower than you. And then so we were running across that bridge. I was like, fuck this. I'm jumping in the water. Yeah. I like jumped in the water because the zombies don't chase you in water. Yeah. We finally make it to zone 2, and I was like, all right, I calm down a little bit because like I know I got to pack a punch.
Still like not ideal to be in zone 2.
Yeah.
To just like hang out, run around, and do stuff. But like compared to zone 3, that's like it's like a vacation. You're like, okay, I can handle this.
Yeah, zone 3 gets stressful, man. Yeah. It gets pretty tough, especially if you start doing contracts in zone 3,
challenges and stuff. Yeah, contracts.
It gets pretty wild. I really want you to see this thing.
Oh, we'll run it up and we'll go into zone 3. I'm gonna bring my character that like doesn't have anything to lose.
Yeah, like like I was saying to you, like it was pretty. So we finally get to zone. We were still in zone 2, and then all of a sudden these rando guys like show up in a boat, and they're like, guy was like, hey, you see shanties? You need a ride? I was like, my cousin jumps on. I was like, I guess so. He's like,
see, this is the thing, like, because in DMZ, if you saw another squad, regardless of like, if you were trying to get into a fight right now, you're trying to do a challenge, your first instinct is kill them. Like the first, like you're up on like a tower, you got like a sniper, you're shooting at things, you're trying to, this challenge, I got to blow up a helicopter or something. Yeah. You see some guy running across the street, your first, let me headshot him. Let me knock him down and kill him. Mm-hmm. Even if there's maybe 3 other people running around on his team, let me kill him. That's like your first thing. In this one, because they got rid of that, they took off the friendly fire stuff, well, whatever you would call it. People are like pulling up in like cars and stuff. They're like, hop on. You're like, okay. Yeah. Like,
so it was really funny. He was like, hop on, you see shanties. And I was like, okay. And then he's talking to his buddy. He's like, hey guys, I kidnapped these dudes. I was like, oh God. I was like, here we go. Yeah. And then so he eventually did take us to the exfil. Okay. He's like, where the hell is this thing? I was like, it's over here on the he's over on the bank. He's like, oh, okay, cool. And then like he was just chilling on the boat, like running around. Yeah, and we're just like we missed the exfil, so we had to wait for the next one to come in.
Yeah.
So we're killing zombies. He's driving around the boat, just like chilling, just like doing pirate tunes.
Random dude.
Just doing pirate tunes and shit. Yeah. And then like finally the exfil came and we left. It was honestly him showing up and like him just being honestly, that's why I kind of love this game a little bit more now, because like people are just goofy.
Yeah.
And like you said, with it being friendly fire, like it's with no friendly fire, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because like there's times like the first time that I was playing this, I swear you told me that like, oh, you don't have to worry about people trying to kill you and stuff. I was like, okay, cool. I was playing with my buddy and like some dude, like I'm just shooting and I stop shooting. I'm looking around to see if there's any zombies and I hear shooting. I'm like, yeah, that's Tim. And I turn. It's some random dude like 3 feet away from me shooting at zombies. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. And I like, just because I'm the way I am and everybody is, I'm like, I try to shoot him in the head. And I shot and like nothing happened. I'm like, okay, so like I can't hurt him. He can't hurt me. Cool.
Yeah.
And then the dude just like runs off, hops in a car and leaves, like doesn't say anything to us, was just there. I was like, all right. Like, it's more of like, like if you imagine in a zombie apocalypse, you versus the zombies, there's always going to be those moments where like people turn on each other because, we need the resources, yada, yada, yada. But like,
yeah,
like just like randomly running through a city trying to kill zombies, a dude shows up and he's like, yeah, no, I'm trying to kill these zombies too. Just,
yeah.
and then I'm going to go on my way. So whatever.
Well, it's nice too because like everyone has like they're trying to do challenges. They're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But, I think overall, like I'm not trying to like hype this game up too much, but I really think y'all should probably check it out. Give it some love.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, my big thing is like, again, set in the past, games used to be $60. It's not that big of a difference.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I'm a big boy. I can pay for $70 for a game. I'm just the kind of person that's hesitant to buy anything that's like a big price tag. Even if I'm going to play like countless hours of this game, I'm like, yeah, but it's $70.
Yeah.
To just drop that on a game. If there's a sale or something, if you're thinking about it, if you loved DMZ, if you loved zombies, if you loved Modern Warfare 2, the original one, and you love the maps like Terminal and stuff, this is worth playing. So, you get to, share it on Xbox, with your buddy that also has it, or whatever way you can to play it. I would recommend trying it out because I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I think we can end it there, man.
Yeah.
Guys, sorry for the change of scenery. Jason, I appreciate you letting me use your house to try this out, this experiment that we're doing.
Yeah.
Essentially of me, doing the podcast in person. Guys, check out the gaming channel. Watch Jason and I. Well, actually, I'm not going to upload that one because the whole mic situation really pissed me off. So I'm not the most campy camper.
There'll be plenty more of Modern Warfare 3 of us running around playing zombies and stuff. We can do some multiplayer. We can do some zombies.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have more.
Yeah. So check out the gaming channel, the Nerdy Mind Gaming. Check out the Instagram and TikTok. I really would like you to follow both the socials for that and the podcast, the Nerdy Mind, both on Instagram and TikTok. So Nerdy Mind Gaming, TikTok, Instagram, and then the Nerdy Mind for the podcast, Instagram and TikTok. Because if you don't like the long form stuff, I essentially do shorts of everything. I clip it in certain sections to where it's good content.
Yeah.
And then, I know everyone's really into the whole short form stuff.
Right. Yeah. And like, it's, I'm unfortunately one of the people, a lot of people are like this nowadays. It used to be back in the day, you're like, I don't want to watch a whole movie, but I could watch a YouTube video of some people being dumb, doing whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's only going to be like 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. Nowadays, it's like, I want like a minute long and then on to the next thing. And when you're just scrolling through, watching random stuff, and then you come across a video of Shane just playing his game, shooting some stuff, being nerdy, being goofy, whatever. It's nice because it's just like a minute long, whatever, some short content. You can see things every so often. Maybe see us, hear me screaming in the background as the giant monster is chasing me, Yeah.
Or even some of our old stuff with us playing Demonologist.
Oh, yeah. You just, like, you don't see that?
Yeah. So definitely check out the socials. Like I said, I upload some YouTube shorts. Follow me on YouTube, the Nerdy Mind and the Nerdy Mind Gaming channels. Like, comment, subscribe, comment. Definitely get more comments of people giving feedback or just overall just enjoying giving their input, which is nice. But I would love to hear from you guys to essentially like what you want us to play, what you would like to talk, like hear me talk about, like hear other people talk about, like what like subjects that you want to hear that we probably haven't hit yet. Would be very nice. Overall, things are growing, things are doing well, but I would just love the community kind of get more involved with things because it makes it easier, because I'm going to keep going where we're going. And
and I mean, and in the grand scheme of things, if you're watching this podcast, if you watch our podcast, if you watch the gaming videos of us being, goofy and silly and whatnot, then just write in a comment saying, hey, I like this thing, but do this other thing because you're the ones that we're trying to make content for.
Exactly.
So like, obviously,
So, but other than that, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. and I hope this definitely feels more organic to me.
Yeah.
Talking to you across the couch, and rather than being over the camera, I don't have to worry about the whole bullshit internet thing. And you're clear, I'm laggy, and you're like, yeah, man, this isn't working for me. So,
Yeah.
but as always, stay nerdy, my friends.